The web is
Simon?
Yes.
the host has
Yes. Good morning and good afternoon to everyone who has joined us today. We'd love to thank you for taking off this time to join us in our very last webinar meeting on inclusive employment. And for today, we're having inclusive employment for persons with intellectual disability in Bangladesh. Next slide.
those
Yes, the webinar is one of a series of webinars on inclusive employment for persons with intellectual disability, with 5 webinars in 5 countries. That is the one we're having today in Bangladesh, Kenya, Nigeria, Rwanda, and Uganda. Thank you. Next slide.
those
This webinar is a series. Is supported by Down Syndrome International and the International Disability Alliance. This work is funded by Inclusive Features, a UK aid-funded consortium of 16 disability and development organizations led by Sightsavers, working to create a future that is inclusive of people with disabilities. Next slide.
those
This webinar is focused on the inclusive employment of persons with intellectual disabilities in Bangladesh. It is led by Fahim Hasan and other self-advocates with the Down Syndrome Society of Bangladesh. Next slide.
those
This is just a reminder and information to all the attendees. You can say hi or hello and make a comment in the chat box. We also encourage you that you can use the Q&A box to ask our panelists questions. We will try to answer them during the session itself. And then if anyone has communication or connection challenges, kindly let us know. We shall be able to assist you and etc. And then we are saying also that a recording of this session will be sent to everyone after the training itself and etc. Yes. And so we will also ask you to try to answer a short survey of a feedback questions and etc. that we shall be able to share with everyone and etc. So again, I would love to reiterate the fact that we are appreciating everyone who has attended and who is here with us. At this juncture, I would love to welcome Fahim and the team from Bangladesh Down Syndrome Society. Thank you. You're welcome. Fahim.
Thank you. Thank you.
Greetings from Down Syndrome Society of Bangladesh. Distinguished guests, panelists, and the participants from all over the world, we welcome to Bangladesh Inclusive Employment Webinar. This webinar will be led by self-advocates, person with Down syndrome. Taking this opportunity, I would like to introduce Fahim Hasan, self-advocate representative at Down Syndrome Society of Bangladesh and National Representative Ambassador of DSI to Bangladesh. I am requesting Fahim to start the session, and today he will facilitate this session. So welcome Fahim to start, please.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. My dear Fahim Hasan, I am a self-advocate of representative of Down Syndrome Society of Bangladesh and DSI University of Bangladesh. My hobby is cycling. I love as President of curriculum. I live in Dhaka. I love my job. আজকে বাংলাদেশের inclusive employment অভিযানে এই অতিথি হিসেবে আছেন প্রফেসর ডক্টর মোহাম্মদ গোলাম রব্বানী, এডিজি দাস, সংস্করণ মজুমদার, চেয়ার হিসেবে আছেন প্রফেসর ডক্টর হাকিম আরিফ স্যার, যোগাযোগ বেকার বিভাগ, ঢাকা বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়। গেস্ট হিসেবে আছেন তাজিদ জাহান, যোগাযোগ বেকার বিভাগ, ঢাকা বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়। আরো আছেন সিহাব হোসেন, সুলতান মুস্তাফা ফুল সিহাব। না, দেন। Thank you.
Thank you, Fahim. Fahim just introduced all of our distinguished guests. Today, our chief guest, Professor Dr. M.D. Ghulam Rabbani, Chairperson, Neurodevelopmental Disability Protection Trust, Ministry of Social Welfare, Government of Bangladesh. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Today, this session will be chaired by Professor Dr. Hakim Arif, the founder chairperson, Department of Communication Disorders, University of Dhaka. We welcome you, sir. And our very special guest speaker today, Tawhida Jahan, chairperson, Department of Communication Disorder, University of Dhaka. We welcoming you, as Fahim said. I'm just translating Fahim's voice. At the same time, Fahim also welcome our other speaker, Shihab Hussain, self-advocate person with Down syndrome. Speaker Darin Abedin, self-advocate person with Down syndrome. And Sultana Mushfika Ful, speaker, self-advocate person with Down syndrome. So Fahim, please proceed. Thank you.
এখন বলবেন সিহাব, reasonable accommodation.
Now, Shihab Hussain, the self-advocates, will present ensuring reasonable accommodation at workplace. He will conduct his presentation. Shihab. Next slide. Yes, Shihab, you can continue.
শিহাবকে আনমিউট করতে হবে।
Shihab's sound system.
Hello.
আসসালামু আলাইকুম, আমার নাম শিহাব হোসেন। আমি ডাউন সিনড্রোম সোসাইটি অফ বাংলাদেশের একজন সেলফ অ্যাডভোকেট। আমি যুক্তিসঙ্গত বাসস্থান নিয়ে কথা বলবো।
Please, Shihab, continue.
Yes, sir. আসসালামু আলাইকুম, আমার নাম শিহাব হোসেন। আমি ডামচুডাম সোসাইটি অফ বাংলাদেশের একজন সেলফ অ্যাডভোকেট। আমি যুক্তিসঙ্গত ব্যবস্থা নিয়ে কথা বলবো।
Okay, I am translating for Shihab. This is Shihab Hussain, a self-advocate from Down Syndrome Society of Bangladesh. And today, Shihab will speak on reasonable accommodation. Next slide, please.
একটা মেয়ে চিন্তা করছে কোন যাবে, বুঝতে পারছে না।
Okay, in this slide, Shihab is telling about reasonable accommodation, and he's saying that to self-advocate reasonable accommodation means adjustment at workplaces, ensure their rights and privileges, and also to ensure access to equal benefits for them. Next slide, please.
আমাদের আইনি অধিকার দরকার। বেতন দরকার, কলিসার দরকার।
Okay, Shihab is telling that as persons with Down syndrome, why they need reasonable accommodation. Actually, they need reasonable accommodation to ensure their legal rights in the society, and also for comfortable environment, modified policies for them, and job requirements for them.
কম্পিউটার কাজ করছে, বই কাজ করছে, মিলেমিশে কাজ করায়। আমাদের বেতন দরকার, আমাদের কর্মচারী দরকার।
Okay, in this slide, Shihab is telling that there are various examples of reasonable accommodation. If these things are ensured, that will mean reasonable accommodation at workplaces, like they need flexible work schedule, they need easy read materials, like others, they need leave of absence and other assistive devices, what he was saying, like computer, laptop, what they need to smoothly work at their workplaces. Next slide, please.
একজন আট মিলাচ্ছে, আমাদের নিরাপদ দরকার, আমাদের সিকিউরিটি দরকার।
Okay, they need several things at workplaces as self-advocates, like Shihab is telling that they need respect and tolerance at workplaces, and at the same time they also need safety and security at workplaces so that they can work without any tension, without any barriers at workplaces. Next slide, please.
আমাদের বেতন দরকার, ফোন, ল্যাপটপ দরকার, যোগাযোগ দরকার।
Okay, as self-advocates, they demand reasonable salary at workplaces. Shihab is telling that if they get any job or if they do any job, the employer should provide them reasonable salary so that they can comfortably lead their life. And they also need communication facilities. What he was saying that they may need mobile, then telephone systems and other things so that they can communicate at workplaces. Next slide, please.
আমার চাকরি দরকার, অফিসে যাওয়ার লাগে গাড়ি গাড়ি চাই, মিলেমিশে থাকতে চাই।
Okay, Shihab telling that as persons with Down syndrome, they need transportation facilities to ensure their smooth working or if they can go smoothly at workplaces. And they also need cooperation from colleagues. He was telling that this is very important for them. If they get cooperation from colleagues, then they can easily do better services at workplaces. So they demand transportation facilities and also cooperation, sympathy from the other colleagues at their working environment. Next slide, please.
সবাইকে অশেষ ধন্যবাদ। থ্যাংক ইউ।
Okay.
Thank you, Shiv.
Shihab extend his thanks for listening all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shiv. এখন বলবেন ফুল শিব গাড়ি নিয়ে।
Now, Fahim, Darren will present, please. Fahim, এখন Darren will present on good practice. Okay, Darren, please proceed.
Hello everyone. I am Darin Abidin, self-advocate, Dansaram Society of Bangladesh. I live in City, Bangladesh.
Next slide, please.
I am a teacher assistant. I work at Faber Pay School.
Next.
I will talk about good practice today and what love about my work.
Next.
I take life's class. I help students in the classroom. I get salary for my work. I am happy. I help in school events. Me with my students and teachers. I go for lunch with my colleagues. I attend my colleagues' wedding. I like to cook when I am home. We don't want to hide in this beautiful world. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jane.
Thank you,
Welcome.
Darin. So if I could just add more on with what Darin said about the good practices. There's obviously a flip side to it as well, but Darin is very lucky because she went to this same school, she studied there, and then they offered her a job. So as a result, what happened is they knew about her for many years, and she was quite familiar with the environment, the school and ambience, the teachers, the students. So the orientation, I would say, is pretty important, very important, I should say, of the workplace. We all get oriented whenever we join a new workplace. However, for them, a little longer orientation, getting to know the place, getting to know the people, or the workspace, or the work, the tasks that they will be doing is quite important. I would add to that. The safety of the workplace, Doreen felt very safe, because she's been there since she went to school. So she knew the space, she knew it was a safe place for her to go, and she felt comfortable. So that's workplace safety is another thing. The communication, the teachers knew how to communicate with her. She communicated well with them because she knew them for many years now. So that was one. And then they knew how to actually talk to her. So she had easy read, or things that she had to read, they gave her time to read on that. So she had a mentor, who could guide her. So she was assisting a teacher in each class. So that was also, quite positive. She had a flexible hour as well. So she didn't have to go early in the morning. She started a little later than usual school hours. That was also very good. They involved her in almost all the events of the schools, be it a storytelling time, a rhyme time, or an event outside the school. They used to have fun fairs, and she was involved in a stall with the teacher, assisting a teacher in a stall, helping the kids. So that was also involvement, in events was also very important. The employers were ready to hire her. The employers were friendly with her. So being friendly, giving them a space to learn was also very important for Doreen. Um, so what happened, because she got this workplace safety, she got better orientation, she communicated well with them. She had a mentor that she could always rely on, or get the support from. She knew the workspace well. All these actually helped her build her confidence. As a result, she performed well. Again, I would say, for Doreen, on a positive note, she was very lucky because we always made her, feel valued in the family. She saw us all working, and she knew that she had to work as well after she, went to school. So this was something that she looked forward to, because when they offered her the job, she was really happy. She wanted to go, and she wanted to feel like one of us, and And every month end, she knew that she was going to get a salary. And she liked that, she really enjoyed that moment, that day. She would come home, hold the envelope when we came home to show it to us, because she was really happy, to do that. So all said, of course, there are some flip sides to all of this, I would say. But again, I say, if we are to offer a job to these kids, we should know their strengths and weaknesses well. We should know what kind of jobs to give them. We should make sure that they're oriented well, their safety is there. The policy in any of the employer, in anywhere they work, the policy should include, the consequences of not misbehaving with them, or harassing them or abusive. Again, I would say that one other thing was the teachers that she worked with, her colleagues, they were all aware what Down syndrome was and how they would have to behave with them, what her moods were, they often have different mood swings, so how to deal with that. They were all kind of aware. So awareness in the workspace among the colleagues, kind of sensitizing, those are very important, I would say. Thank you.
Thank you, Rizal Abidi. এখন বলবেন সুতরা মুশকিলা ফুল যে safeguarding নিয়ে।
Now, presenting on safeguarding, Sultana Mushfika Ful.
Thank you, sir. আমার নাম সুলতানা মুশফিকা ফুল। I am safe advocate, Down syndrome society of Bangladesh. আমি সেফগার্ডের নিয়ে কথা বলবো।
Sultana Mushfika Ful has just introduced herself and she will be presenting on safeguarding now. Next slide, please.
আমাদের অধিকার সুরক্ষা হচ্ছে আমাদের অধিকার, কাজের জায়গায় সুরক্ষা, নির্যাতন থেকে সুরক্ষা, আমাদের নির্যাতন মুক্ত জীবন। সেফগার্ডেন সিআরপিজি মূল নীতি।
Next slide, please.
শারীরিক নির্যাতন।
In our workplace, we can face different kind of torture and abuse, and we need safeguarding from those. For example, physical torture. Next slide.
মানসিক নির্যাতন।
Mental torture can also be very harmful for a Down syndrome people in their working environment. Next slide.
যৌন নির্যাতন।
Ful is talking about sexual harassment, which can be very harmful if someone face in their work environment. Next slide.
করিক নির্যাতন।
Ful is talking about bullying from colleagues, which we Down syndrome people can face in our workplace, and we need safeguarding from bullying from colleagues. Next slide.
আমাদের যারা হাসাহাসি করে তাদের সুরক্ষা পাওয়া দরকার।
Fool is talking about another kind of torture and abuse, which is being loved by others. And we need safeguarding from being loved by others. Move on to the next slide.
IW প্রজেক্ট থেকে আমি শিখেছি সিআরপিটি সুরক্ষা মানবতা অধিকার কাজের অধিকার কথা বলার অধিকার
Fool is talking about what she has learned from inclusion work projects, which is she got to learn about UN CRPD. She learned about safeguarding and human rights. She also learned about demand of their rights to work, and they must raise their voice for employment. Let's move on to the next slide.
চাকরির জায়গায় থেকে নির্যাতন যদি হয় স্যার ম্যাডামকে জানা দরকার
Here, Fool is talking about that the first step of safeguarding, if we face any kind of violence or torture at our workplace, is to report to the supervisor. And she always report to in her organization to the DSSP safeguarding team. Let's move on to the next slide.
হেল্প হেল্প মানে সাহায্য
And Fool is talking about help here, that if we face any kind of torture, violence, or abuse, we must not tolerate it in silence, and we should immediately ask for help. And this is another step of safeguarding. This is where we can ensure our safeguarding. Let's move on to the next slide.
সবাইকে ধন্যবাদ
She has thanked everyone. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Sadra must get food. এখন বেজল দেখা হবে তোমার জানা
ফাহিম প্রশ্ন আছে তোমার কাছে আমি জানতে চাচ্ছি তোমার কাছে প্রশ্ন
Okay, Fool
Nah.
said that
তোমার
now,
ভিডিও
now this is the part of the session that question and answer. So Fahim and Fool, they're asking that if there is any question from our participants, we can open the floor.
Yes, thank you, Fahim and the team for the nice presentation. It's really well done and a lot of insightful knowledge and etc. Our prayer and plea is that people in the world at large, including those in Bangladesh, offer persons with Down syndrome employment and employment opportunities. As Fahim has said and the team, if you have any question, kindly share with us in our Q&A box. Nathan will support in reading them out, and Fahim and the team are available to make responses to them. Thank you.
Thank you, Simon.
Thank you food
So,
welcome
so please, anyone that has a question, if you can type it for us in the Q&A box, which is at the bottom of the screen, and then we can read it out for Fahim or one of the other self-advocates to answer. So maybe just one question to get started. What is your dream job, Fahim and other panelists? What would be your dream job that you'd like to do?
So Fahim, can I explain to Fahim? Yeah, Fahim, the question এসছে যে তোমাদের ড্রিম জব কি, তোমরা আসলে কি ধরনের কাজ করতে চাচ্ছ, কি কাজ করার স্বপ্ন দেখছো যে আমি যদি এই কাজটা করতে পারতাম?
আমি মানসিক যেন কাজ করতে পারি।
ফাহিম আবার বলবে?
আমি মানুষের জন্য কাজ করতে পারি চাই।
Okay, Fahim said that I want to work for my country. But কি ধরনের কাজ করতে চাও?
সাহায্য করতে।
Okay, he said that he want to help someone if he has that opportunity. So something like Fahim expressed that he want to be a volunteer, like caregiver to support person.
Great. And how about anyone else? Paul or Shihab?
ফুল, শিহাব, কিছু বলবে? তোমরা কি কি হতে চাও, কি করতে চাও? শিহাব?
আমি অফিসে চাকরি করতে চাই।
অফিস ওয়ার্ক?
Shihab is telling that he likes to do job in a office, like office assistant. He can do better service as office assistant, that he is saying. So his dream is to get a job as office assistant in any company in Bangladesh. That Shihab is telling.
Great. That sounds like a good job. How about Paul?
How about ফুল? ফুল,
জি আঙ্কেল।
তুমি
জি
বলো।
আঙ্কেল।
হ্যাঁ, তুমি কি করতে চাও, কি
তোমার স্বপ্ন?
তোমার স্বপ্ন?
চাকরি করতে চাই।
কি ধরনের চাকরি?
কনভেন্টাল converter type meant table tennis coach.
Tahir, can you explain?
Actually, she has a dream of several jobs and she couldn't choose only one. So she said that she want to learn computer and she want to operate computer, and she also want to become a coach of table tennis, as she is a very good table tennis player. So she wants to be a coach. That these are her dream jobs.
Excellent. Thank you. Those sound like great jobs. I'm sure you could do a great job of both of those. Maybe you can do half the time you can be doing computers and half the time you can be coaching table tennis. So we've got another question from Edwige, and she has asked, is it easy for a person with Down syndrome to get a job in Bangladesh?
Fahim, can you answer? তুমি কি প্রশ্নের উত্তর দিতে পারো যে আমাদের দেশে তোমাদের জন্য কাজ পাওয়াটা কি খুব সহজ? খুব সহজে কি কাজ পেতে পারো?
না।
এটা কি খুব সহজ না কাজ পাওয়া? কেন সহজ না?
অনেক বাধা আছে।
Okay, Fahim said that to get a job is not easy because we have lot of barrier that we have to overcome. So it's not so easy to get a job. That's what Fahim said. Full, তুমি কিছু বলতে চাও? কেন চাকরি পাওয়া কি সহজ?
No.
কেন সহজ না?
আমাদেরকে দিতে চায় না।
Pool has a complaint that it is not easy to get a job for Down syndrome people in Bangladesh because the companies are not willing to give them jobs.
Great, thank you. That's good to hear. And that's, I think, why it's important that we're doing this webinar and this work to try and change that and make it easier for people to get jobs. So we had another question, which was, does the government of Bangladesh support inclusive employment? So possibly this might be one for our guest speaker. That was from Edwige, I think, from Rwanda. Maybe we could hear a little bit of what the government does to support the employment.
So I would like to request our chief guest, Professor Dr. Gulab Rabbani. We can hear from him about the government context, that what government is planning for that. Thank you.
The
Sir.
government of Bangladesh is very much friendly for the people of neurodevelopmental disabilities, and Down syndrome and intellectual disabilities are the one of four components of the neurodevelopmental disorders. And in our policy, national policy regarding the employment, there are some provision of quotas for these people, and those of our friends who doesn't have education of their college level, that is the undergraduate level, they have the provision to get 5% quota for assisting the official job. And the higher jobs are available only 1%. That is for the executive job. These are the quotas. These are reserved for these neurodevelopmental disorders and other persons with intellectual disability and Down syndrome. So there is a provision for them. Besides that, our government has a policy to request through the Ministry of Social Welfare to various departments like ICT department, International Internet Communication Department, that there is a training for these people to learn computer. They are given the computer training from the various parts of the country. It is open to all, and government has the provision to get training, basic computer training, and after getting this training, they will go back to their own places in the community, in the urban and rural community, and they will try for their job, or they can do some small entrepreneur, they can do some self-working, they can buy or purchase, and this purchase of this computer and other accessories, and the government is ready to provide them the bank loan. So there is a provision over there, and by this time, a handful of people from different parts of the country of Bangladesh are trained by the ICT division, that is the Ministry of Communication of Bangladesh. And we have our other departments like the Social Welfare Ministry, Neurodevelopmental Disability from this trustee board, we are trying to take help of various industries that they can do some help from their social corporate responsibility. And we have our very large ready-made garments industries, RMG. They are exporting the ready-made garments to Europe, America, and various parts of the world. So there is some work over there with the packaging and selecting the goods and packaging, and computer works in this industry. And there are lots of training has been given through the Center for Paralysis, that is CRP, and the other national and international NGOs. And here now, in this moment, Bangladesh, the CDD, Center for Development in Disability, they are holding a workshop starting from 27th of this month to 7th of the October. There, they are trying to train the OPDs, the persons office of the organization of the persons with disability. And they are trying to motivate the industry people. And one thing is very needed, that they want a 50-50 responsibility of this training aspect. They want that our persons will be trained by us, and in the spot, their people will try to help us for training these people. In policy and principle, these people amongst the industries, they are very much keen, because our children, particularly our people, those who have the persons with this intellectual disability and Down syndrome, they are very honest by heart, and they are very hardworking, and they don't know how to cheat. So they are very loved by our industry people, and they are very keen to take them and employ them in their industry. Only thing is that the training part. What we are now doing, that we are doing some fair, job fair. It has been done by the Jatiyo Pratibandhi Unnayan Foundation. The another sector of the government social welfare ministry, where they used to hold a job fair. But after this COVID-19 pandemic, this endeavor has been temporarily suspended, because of there is a chance of infection of this face-to-face and physical meeting. So we are trying, and government is very much interested. And the other ministry is youth ministry. Youth ministry is also very keen. And we have our national strategic committee, and we used to sit in every 2 months, and we are involved in 15 ministry. And this 15 ministry is trying to coordinate their works, and they are trying to give the job to these people, those who are young and those who are capable. So we are planning to do this training gradually, and trying to put them in employment, so that they can live a very good livelihood, to run their to improve their potential and engaged in their employment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's really great to hear all the measures that you're taking to promote inclusive employment, especially given the last couple of years and the difficult circumstances with COVID-19. So really encouraging to hear of all those different measures being taken by the government. And I hope more employers and businesses take advantage of the training and the other things that you're offering to them to help them employ people with Down syndrome and disabilities. The training you mentioned around computers, maybe that would be a good one for you, Paul, if you could make some progress towards your dream job if you could be involved in that. So thank you very much. That's really interesting to hear and encouraging. So we've got probably time for another couple of questions, and then we'll move on to the next speakers. So we had one question from Lalita, who said she would like to know what is the situation around acceptance in workplaces in Bangladesh, acceptance of people with Down syndrome in workplaces. Maybe one, I don't know if that's back to the self-advocates.
Yes,
Razak?
yes. I'd like to ask self-advocate. So Fahim, Shihab, তোমরা কি একটু বলতে পারো যে মানে কাজ করতে যে আসলে আমাদের কাজের ক্ষেত্রে কি রকম সমস্যা আমরা ফেস করছি, তোমরা ফেস করছো? ফুল বলবে কি ধরনের
ট্রেনিং নাই, যা নাই।
জি আঙ্কেল।
ওকে, বলো ফুল বলো। কি ধরনের, তোমরা কি মনে করো যে কাজের উপযুক্ত পরিবেশ আছে?
না,
কেন?
কেউ দিতে চায় না, বের করে দেয়।
Okay. So Fahim said, I'm translating Fahim answer. Fahim said that, well, it is difficult, the workplace comfortable, to make a comfortable workplace for us because we don't have those reasonable accommodation. Like he highlighted that transportation is a big problem. Even he also mentioned that people are reluctant to give job for us. And Fool mentioned that this is also not a comfortable workplace that we can find in any companies because they don't know what our need is. So they don't want to give us job because they feel that we are not fit for it. Thank you, Fool.
Welcome.
Shihab looks like he has his hand up. I don't know if he wants to answer as well.
Shihab, would you like to? Shihab বলবে, Shihab বলো, কেন তোমার কি মনে হয় যে আমাদের জন্য উপযুক্ত কাজের জায়গা আছে?
বেশি বেতন দিতে চায় না, বেতন কম দেন।
Okay, Shihab, right, and very important.
Yeah, Shihab is telling that in some cases the employers is not willing to give them reasonable salary, and he is saying that they get discriminated in some companies and other sectors. So the employer have a tendency to give them less salary than the other staffs. That Shihab is telling.
Thank you, Shihab. That was actually the next question I was going to ask about, whether people get paid the same. So interesting that you've already mentioned that, as that people are being discriminated against and paid less than other people doing the same job. So that's something that needs to change, and hopefully will be addressed. And hopefully employers will begin to realise that people with Down syndrome and disabilities make good employees, and they should be paid equal wages as someone doing the same job. So great. Okay, I think we might have that might have been all of the questions. If anyone else had a question we haven't managed to answer, we will try and answer by email after the session. So I'll hand back to you, the SSB team, and Fahim.
So Fahim, our next, you can say the next presentation will be কি presentation হবে তুমি বলো।
Video tension হবে।
I'm said that next presentation is video. Pre-recorded video will be presented. Please.
আসসালামু আলাইকুম। ডাউন সিনড্রোম সোসাইটির পক্ষ থেকে সবাইকে শুভেচ্ছা। My name is Fahim Hasan. I am a self-advocate of Down Syndrome Society of Bangladesh. I am the national DSI ambassador to Bangladesh. I am from Dhaka, Bangladesh. আজকে আমরা UNCLPT নিয়ে আলোচনা করব। UNCLPT রয়েছে প্রচলিত যোজনা গোষ্ঠী অধিকার সহ এখন সেবিকা নিয়ে আলাদা করে
আমার নাম সুতরা মুস্তিকা। I am self advocate from Down Syndrome Society of Bangladesh. আমি আজকে সেফ গার্ডেন নিয়ে কথা বলবো। সেফ গার্ডেন হচ্ছে ব্যক্তি সুরক্ষা। আমাদের জীবনে বিভিন্ন ক্ষেত্রে সুরক্ষা দরকার। পারিবারিক সুরক্ষা, সামাজিক সুরক্ষা, শিক্ষা প্রতিষ্ঠান সুরক্ষা, চাকরি সুরক্ষা। আমাদের সুরক্ষা দরকার। শারীরিক নির্যাতন, যৌন নির্যাতন, মানসিক নির্যাতন, লাভ করা, হয়রানি করা, অপমান করা, ভয় দেখানো। আমাদের সুরক্ষা দরকার। আমরা সুরক্ষা পেতে চাই। সবাইকে ধন্যবাদ।
এখন যাদের অধিকার নিয়ে আলাদা করে শিয়াব। আসসালামু আলাইকুম। আমার নাম শিয়াব, সেলফ অ্যাডভোকেট ডাউন সিনড্রোম সোসাইটি অফ বাংলাদেশ। ইন্ট্রোডাকশন ওয়ার্ডস প্রযুক্তির মাধ্যমে ডাউন সিনড্রোম সোসাইটি অফ বাংলাদেশে আমরা অনেক কিছু শিখেছি। আমরা কাজ করতে চাই। আমাদের কাজের অধিকার আছে। ইউএনসিএলপিটি হচ্ছে প্রতিবন্ধীদের অধিকার সমান। ইউএনসিএলপিতে আমাদের অধিকার কথা বলা আছে। কাজের ক্ষেত্রে আমাদের অধিকার দরকার। কাজের সুযোগ করে দেওয়া, কাজের পরিবেশ ঠিক থাকতে হবে, সুনির্দিষ্ট কাজ দিতে হবে, কাজের সময় নির্ধারিত থাকতে হবে, কাজের পরিসীমা ঠিক থাকতে হবে, সপ্তাহে ছুটি থাকতে হবে, কাজের থেকে পরিসীমা আছে। এখন I am Sayagobi, self-advocate, Down Syndrome Society of Bangladesh. I am in Dhaka में बसबास करी। शहर दिखे बच्चे, शहर दिखे आमदिगान बोला अच्छे। आमदिगान তেমন হচ্ছে আমার সমান অধিকার অধিকার চাই, সমাজে অধিকার চাই, পরিবার অধিকার, শিক্ষা অধিকার, স্বাস্থ্য অধিকার, স্থান অধিকার চাই, রাজনীতি অধিকার, বিনোদন, খেলাধুলা অধিকার, আমরা অধিকার চাই। থ্যাংক ইউ, ধন্যবাদ। সবাইকে অনেক 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 ধন্যবাদ। সবাই ভালো থাকবেন, সুস্থ থাকবেন। সবাই মাস্ক পরবেন, সুস্থ থাকবেন। সবাইকে বেজিয়ে করার জন্য ধন্যবাদ সবাইকে, থ্যাংক ইউ।
ফাহিম, এবার আমাদের বিশেষ অতিথি থেকে বলবেন, তুমি একটু বলে দাও কে বলবে।
আমি তাহিতে জাহানকে ম্যাডামকে অনুরোধ করেছি যে কিছু বলার জন্য, ধন্যবাদ।
Now Fahim is requesting for the address from Tawhida Jahan, Chairperson, Department of Communication Disorder, as our special guest. Tawhida Jahan.
অনেক ধন্যবাদ ফাহিম, তোমার জন্য অনেক ভালোবাসা। গুড আফটারনুন ডিস্টিংগুইশড গেস্ট, সর্দার এরাজা, চেয়ারম্যান ডাউন সিনড্রোম সোসাইটি বাংলাদেশ, প্রফেসর ডক্টর মোহাম্মদ গোলাম রাব্বানি, চেয়ারপারসন এনডিডি ট্রাস্টি বোর্ড, অনারেবল চেয়ার প্রফেসর ডক্টর হাকিম আরিফ, founder chairperson Department of Communication Disorders, and our beloved self-advocates. I would like to thank Down Syndrome International, Down Syndrome Society of Bangladesh, International Disability Alliance, UK8 for arranging such an effective session. I'm delighted to hear the voice from our self-advocate, Fahim, Shihab, Darin, Shahriar. It's my pleasure to share that Down Syndrome Society of Bangladesh is working so hard for the people with Down syndrome in Bangladesh, and the Department of Communication Disorder, Dhaka University, also working from the beginning with them. The main focus of our today's webinar is the Inclusion Works program. It's very unfortunate to say that globally, persons with Down syndrome and intellectual disabilities are one of the most excluded groups from the work and employment. Now the question is why? Is it their fault? No, it's not their fault at all, because we fail to ensure the proper training and support for the people of Down syndrome community. And it's high time we need to work for them. And I want to say we need to focus their abilities, not the disabilities. We all know that the barriers which exclude disabled person from employment related service and opportunities are social, economic, cultural, political, but all are real. But the most important thing is all can be overcome. Our disabled person or person with disability, they want to earn a livelihood, they want to work, they want to enjoy a social life, they want to gain self-esteem. And it's our responsibility, it's our duty to ensure their own right for living a better life. If we work together, we can ensure a disability-friendly society. I'm really, I want to thank government of Bangladesh for taking initiative for creating job at different level where our person with disability can perform. I really want to thank Professor Dr. Golam Rabbani, Chair NDD Trust. He already shared detail of our government initiative. So I do not want to repeat. I really want to thank him. And yes, of course, I really want to thank the organizers for taking this timely initiative. And please, let's work together. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. এখন আমি প্রফেসর ডক্টর হাকিম আরিফ স্যারকে কিছুক্ষণ বেলার জন্য অনুরোধ করেছি যে
Now Fahim is requesting our chair, Professor Dr. Hakim Arif, to address.
Thank you. Today's chief guest, Dr. Rabbani, special guest, Tawhid Jahan, Dr. Abdul Razzaq, President Down Syndrome Society of Bangladesh. Nathan, good to see you after many days. And our beloved self-advocate from Bangladesh and also from Uganda, Simon. Good afternoon. And it has been already 1 hour and 12 minutes. And I'm very happy to enjoy to attend this session. It was a wonderful session because in this session, we have enjoyed the demand of our self-advocate. They, in fact, they have raised their voice. And before attending this session, we used
Actually, in Dhaka University, the net signal is really very poor since morning. Possibly, sir also facing same problem.
Yes, it seems like that. So we'll just wait for a while.
Could we maybe move on to our final speaker and then go back to him if he manages to connect again?
Okay, so we will, Fahim, can you hear me? Fahim, এবার তুমি আমাদের চিফ গেস্ট কি কিছু বলার জন্য অনুরোধ করো, আমাদের চিফ গেস্ট প্রফেসর ডক্টর গোলাম রাব্বানী।
এখন আমি প্রফেসর ডক্টর মোহাম্মদ গোলাম রাব্বানী স্যারকে কিছু বলার জন্য অনুরোধ করেছি।
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. First of all, I want to start with the name of Almighty Allah. And I'm very thankful to the Down Syndrome Society of Bangladesh for inviting me to act as the chief guest of this very valuable session, today's session, where our Down Syndrome International respected person has been joined, and our friend from Uganda, and our chairperson of this session, Professor Dr. Hakim Ali, and Professor Tawhida Jahan has very kindly joined with us from the Department of Communication Disorder of Dhaka University, and our very loved, dear and near one, the self-advocates from the Down Syndrome Society of Bangladesh. They have very nicely spoken about their demand, and they have very nicely elaborated the UNCRPD rights of the persons with disability, particularly Down syndromes and other intellectual disabled persons. So here we have two parties. One is the state party, who are very committed as per ratification of the Convention of the Rights of the Persons with Disability. Bangladesh government has ratified it in 2007, and we have established our National Human Rights Commission in 2010, and through legislation has been passed in the year 2013 in the National Assembly as the Rights and Protection of the Persons with Disability and Neurodevelopmental Disability Protection Trust Act. This is our mandate to help these persons starting from the inception of these people in their mother's womb till their end of life. So this is a life course approach. And you will be very happy to learn that the government has taken the initiative, and our golden lady of Bangladesh, Ms. Saima Hussain, who has initiated a national strategic plan of action in 2016, and with the help of University of Massachusetts, the Institute of Common Inclusion, and the World Health Organization, and Ministry of Health, and the other 15 ministries. And we have published a strategic plan of action, a book, which is a wonderful document, not only for us, for this region of the Southeast Asia region. And this year it is going to be end, and we are requesting our government to extend this strategic plan for another few years to end these activities. And with these activities, we are trying to help our persons with neurodevelopmental disabilities, especially Down syndrome and other intellectual disabled peoples in a body. And whatever I have told, that the state party is trying their best, along with the social corporate responsibility of the industrial people and our other stakeholders, particularly those who are grown in Bangladesh, various societies, that is the OPDs, that is the persons with other disorders, that is the civil society organization, and various society of Bangladesh like SWAC, that is the Society for the Welfare of these children with autism, and the other foundations. They are trying with their own in various parts of the countries, and they are trying to advocate self, to chant their hue and cry, to raise the voice for the establishment of the right of these persons, particularly for their livelihood. And this livelihood is possible when we can solve this employment problem. And employment problem is very much possible here, as because many people has very good mind to help these people. Only barrier we are facing, that is the access to the workplaces, number one, making the colleagues or the other people, those who are working, those who will be working with them, particularly the workmates, they need some facilitation for the change of attitude and the behavior change communication materials to be reached to these people, this organization, this industry, and the other people, local government, and the local government people, along with the leaders of the society, so they can be helpful, as because our children, they are already said that people are not ready to accept them easily. So here we need to advocate, we need to raise a consensus so that they will be well accepted by our community, and they will be easy in their way to the work and come back. And the lady has already said, and our girl child, they need a special security like sexual harassment and harassment in the workplaces in various ways, bullying, and their physical and social and psychological abuses. So this is a very good point to note, and we will be trying to incorporate these materials to our communication to various important places, particularly the government planning and policy making, so that government can be very cautious about these matters, and they will be preparing themselves for planning, and they will be making awareness before sending them to the workers, because giving job is very easy, but sustainability is very important, as because those colleagues who will be working with them are not prepared mentally and psychologically. They will be coming back within few days. That's because we have few studies why it is not sustained and why there is some failure. People are getting job, but they are coming back within few days because they are not accepted by the friends and other fellow colleagues, what they have already said in their emotional story. So this is the practical aspect. That is the good practice they have uttered in their statement. So we will be very happy to provide them this reasonable accommodation and a good solution of their working place, so that their working place will be very sustainable, very defendable, very suitable, and there will be trust or the situation in the workplace. So they will be working with us. They will feel very comfortable. A congenial atmosphere is very much needed. And the financial aspect, they have said that there is a discrimination. And this discrimination is one of the points. They feel very humiliated when they see that the same person working the same job, getting the less salary or wages. And so we shall have to recover this discrimination, and they will be given full support and full respect, so that they will be working in a happy mood and in a happy feeling. So this is a very good eye-opening occasion. I'm very thankful to the Down Syndrome Society of Bangladesh and the Down Syndrome Society International and the International Alliance and the UK Aid. UK Aid is very much helpful for us in developing various curriculums and various sorts of doing these seminars and symposium and making us prepared for doing something for these people. So I am very indebted and I am very thankful. I am very grateful to the organizer. They have very kindly given us a chance to say something on behalf of me and my organization. So I will be coming to them again and again so that I can hear them and can do something for them. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry, I was disconnected somehow.
Yes,
please carry on.
Can I carry on?
Now
Yes.
we would like that Professor Dr. Hakim Arif to wrap up our.
Okay, thank you. What I was telling, our self-advocate have raised many issues, and if I just summarize there, one self-advocate, Fahim Hasan, he said they need job, very good. They need salary, and they need flexible workplace, easy accommodation, secured accommodation, tolerance from the employer. They need transport facilities and cooperation from the colleagues. And Darin Abedin, I'm very happy to see that she is working as a teacher assistant, and it is very good news from the perspective of a person with Down syndrome in Bangladesh. She is working, and she has been the working place now. And Sultana Mushfika Ful, she has raised many issues of safeguarding, like protection in the workplace, personal safeguard, like she needs to save herself from sexual harassment, mental and physical torture. Okay, now this could be the ideal situation, and one person with Down syndrome, they expect this kind of demands from the society. Okay, now what is happening? Now come to the reality. What is happening in Bangladesh? And our different self-advocate already mentioned that there are a lot of barriers to get good job, especially for person with Down syndrome. First of all, people's perception. There are perception that, okay, person with Down syndrome are not able to work in the place, on the workplace. They are physically not able. They are not mentally able. And when they are recruited in any position, they are highly low paid. This is the reality of Bangladesh. Now, how can we overcome this kind of barrier to ensure good job or inclusion employment in Bangladesh? To overcome this kind of barriers and problems, collectively we need to make initiative from our respective position. First of all, come to the position of government. And on behalf of our government, Professor Dr. Rabbani seriously is working in this field because he is the chair of NDD Trust, which is established under the Act of Disability Protection Act. And now we know that our government is very much disabled friendly government because they are doing many things. Especially they just establish a trust like this NDD. In addition, our ICT ministry already has designed a software for person with disabled and NDD. Now, what our government can do to ensure good job, they can introduce a law that will tell that every organization, in terms of both public and private, they will recruit a person, special person like person with Down syndrome, person with autism, person with CP. It would be mandatory. So government should introduce a law in the parliament. Okay. And at the same time, government should introduce a special curriculum for special school. Because from my personal experience, what I can say, in our country, especially in city, there are a lot of special schools. But and people are sending their special children to this school. But the school don't know what will be the ending of this school. So government should introduce a special curriculum. And in this curriculum, they should make option to introduce some vocational training so that our person with Down syndrome and special person can get training, proper training from this vocational training institution to get good job in the job market. Now come to what our private organization can contribute. Our private organization can recruit one person in every company. They just recruit one person, and the concern is how they will provide the salary. Even they can provide the salary from CSR fund. We know that, and in every private organization they have CSR fund, and they can provide salary of a employee of person with Down syndrome or special person. They can provide the salary. Now come to the concern of academicians like us. What we can contribute in this regard. In our department, we can introduce special training course to make them more skilled. It should be, then they will be more skilled to get the job, to encounter the job. And what other organization like what Mr. Rajak is doing, what they can contribute, they can organize seminar, webinar, and many things to make aware our people. And I believe that if we collectively contribute for the betterment of our special person, then in Bangladesh, we'll be able to establish really inclusive employment condition. Okay, thank you. Finally, since I'm a chair of this session, it's my duty to thank all. First of all, I'd like to thank Professor Ghulam Rabbani. He is very enthusiastic person, even in this age. And I believe that from this experience of this session, he will just make new initiative to motivate the government, to convince the government, so that the government can take a situation to establish a really inclusive employment in Bangladesh. Okay. Then I'd like to thank our special guest, Tawhida Jahan. She is academician, energetic academician. And I believe that under her leadership, we'll be able to introduce special course for person with Down syndrome and even for the gardens. Okay. And now I'd like to thank Mr. Nathan Rowe organizing this session. He has been the host, and I'm very happy to meet him again. And I'd like to thank Shordare Rajak. Always I used to say that he has sacrificed his life for the betterment of these people, like for the person with Down syndrome. And finally, I'd like to thank our beloved self-advocate who have done wonderful job today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, our Professor Hakim Arif. Fahim, now we want তুমি এখন তোমার কাছ থেকে বলো পুরো অনুষ্ঠানের শেষ টানার জন্য। ফাহিম হাসান।
Bangladesh Inclusive Employment অভিযানের সবাইকে শুভেচ্ছা, ধন্যবাদ। আজকে এই শেষ পর্যন্ত।
Thank you, Fahim. Fahim, just convey a big thanks and regards to all the participants nationally and internationally, and the participant of today's panelists and organizers. Thanks to all of them. So now at this point, we'd like to give our session the part to Nathan and Simon.
Yes, thank you, Razak, and thank you for really bringing very inspiring personalities from Bangladesh. They have really done a great and commendable job. The professor from the government, your attendance means a lot to us as Down Syndrome International and also the Down Syndrome Society of Bangladesh, because then it shows that the government of Bangladesh cares about persons with intellectual disability and persons with Down syndrome. And with what you have said and other panelists from Bangladesh, we are really seeing that there is something that is positive that is being done by the government of Bangladesh for the betterment, especially for the employment, inclusive employment of persons with Down syndrome in Bangladesh. And that gives us a joy, and that means we are doing something and we're all contributing to the great livelihood of persons with Down syndrome in Bangladesh. Justice done in Bangladesh is justice done to the rest of the world, to all of us, and it's a joy seeing that you're doing something. To the panelists, self-advocates, persons with Down syndrome, it's really a pleasure, and what you have done is really creating a lot of awareness, not only to the people in Bangladesh, but to the rest of the world, and those who have attended and participated in the webinar today, and etc. To the people who have attended today, it's a pleasure, and we are very grateful as Down Syndrome International for your time and making us a priority today, joining the family in Bangladesh in trying to create awareness about the need to create inclusive employment for persons, intellectual persons with intellectual disability in Bangladesh. Thanks a lot for your time and etc. And to the team in Down Syndrome International, thank you for the organization, Nathan and the team, Aziz, and all who have attended today. It's really a pleasure having all of you. Today has been like a drop in the ocean. We are still carrying on our employment advocacy for persons with intellectual disability as Down Syndrome International, and etc. And it's a pleasure that we are all in the same page and etc. So we encourage you that we are not closing today. You can still reach out us on all our platforms, website, and all social media platforms. Even the Bangladesh Down Syndrome Society, you can contact them for any information and assistance. We will always be available. Today is not the end, but it marks the start of a great journey to creating inclusive employment for persons with intellectual disability in Bangladesh, but to the rest of the world too. Thanks for your time, and see you.